Okay.
Are you done?
So
I filled the
because,
card. Now I'm doing it on here.
advertises musical comedy science review, I always like to start out the second half with a little today in science, and just because it's science. Okay, so on March 10th in 1982, a syzygy occurred. So one of my favorite English words is syzygy. 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 And was an alignment of all 9 planets on the same side of the sun. At that time, there was 9 planets. One of them, of course, has been degraded since then. Syzygy, remember that word. All 9 planets aligned on the same side of the sun. And you also note in the word syzygy that the Y's are aligned also, so it's kind of a syzygy. Okay. Oh, where's the can of Ready Whip?
Really?
Yeah. On this date, March 10th, in 1955, U.S. patent number 2,704,172 was issued to Aaron Lapin for his invention of the dispensing valve for gas pressure containers, otherwise known as Ready Whip. And we may have a demonstration of that. Okay. Anybody want to demonstrate how to properly use this?
Is there a volunteer?
Win.
No, please.
The next person.
Yeah, I was somewhat astonished to find out that there's only been 1 death recorded from the use of a and several injuries. And I would thought there would be a lot more from people choking to death on it, but it was actually that the can exploded.
Oh.
And shrapnel from the can severed artery, and the woman died. And I was just stunned, But this has saved a lot of trouble for people, because it takes a lot of arm work to whip cream,
Oh, God.
Okay, on this day in 1876, Alexander Graham Bell made the first telephone call. And he was wandering around his laboratory there in Philadelphia going, "Watson, can you hear me now? Watson, can you hear me now?" And on this day in 1797, the first American scientific paper on paleontology was presented to the American Philosophical Society, entitled "A Memoir on the Discovery of Certain Bones of a Quadruped of the Clawed Kind." And it was written by one Thomas Jefferson. Jefferson was an intellectual giant. He said so himself many times. A competent astronomer and mathematician, he precisely calculated the solar eclipse of 1778, which was in the midst of the American Revolution. He was considered an expert in anatomy, physics, botany, meteorology, civil engineering, architecture, and he could read and write Greek, Latin, Spanish, French, and Italian, and English. And the bones that were the subject of his scientific paleontological paper were of Megalonyx, an extinct giant sloth. Jefferson managed to parlay this foray into the reality media of the day into a vast economic empire, establishment of a university, and eventually presidency of the United States. Jefferson's opponent in the election of 1800 was the incumbent President John Adams, who thought Jefferson was unfit for the presidency and mocked him by calling him Mr. Mammoth because of his interest in bones and other paleontological things. Well, Jefferson responded by calling Adams a blind, bald, crippled, toothless man who is a hideous, hermaphroditic character with neither the force and fitness of a man nor the gentleness and sensibility of a woman.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you know, I say point for Jefferson on this one. And he added, you know, my Mr. Mammoth is doing just fine, as evidenced by my 6 children by my wife and at least 6 or more children by various slave women. Okay, so we don't want the math nerds among you to be excluded from the concert. So next Wednesday, March 14th, is National Pi Day, that is 3/14, and I have a song that I hope someday will be the national theme song of Pi Day. It's 3 o'clock on the 14th. One lonely man stumbles in. Then 5 more shuffle through the door. 9 want 2 bottles of gin. They say, can you give us a number? We're not really sure how it goes, but it's long, no repeats, and it's still incomplete. How it ends, nobody knows. Just give us a number, piano man. 3.1415, 92653, and 5 again. 8979. You know, you may remember the number pi from your high school algebra or geometry class, pi being the ratio of a circle's circumference to diameter.
Back off a little bit. Back off the mic a little.
And I can hear myself. Okay. Where was I?
Pi.
Pi. Okay, so, and you may have been required to use the first 3 digits of pi 3.14 for some calculations along the line. So I'm just giving you the first 15 digits of pi so that you can do much more serious calculations. There's no fraction bar with 2 integers that can give you this ratio of a circle's circumference to diameter. It's irrational, you know. They say, Doc, we think this is fantasy, as they try to recall just why and how they would use this number abstruse as the waitress serves them more pie. Just give us a number, piano man. 3.1415, 92653, and 5 again. 8979. Yeah, because this number and other common mathematical numbers are called irrational, which means that the numbers following the decimal point never repeat. There's no sequence of repetitions, and they just go on forever and ever and ever and ever. So I'm just giving you the first 15 digits of pi. Now Paul's a polygon geometer who needs to calculate space for filling a jar of radius r, and the volume his wife can displace. The waitress is practicing physics while the businessmen contemplate cones. They compare notes about Mandelbrot's and scalar curvature zone. Yes, give us a number, piano man. 3.1415, 92653, and 5 again. 8979. It's a pretty good number, figuring anything involving spheres, but it's hard to see why we need to know pi to 13 trillion digits so far. 'Cause 100 digits is good enough for the size of the known cosmos to be calibrated and calculated to the nearest micron. Pretty close. Yes, give us a number, piano man. 3.1415, 92653, and 5 again. 8979. 3333323846264. 3383279. 95028841971.